You probably think your worldview is shaped by, like, massive life-altering events, right?
Yeah.
An epiphany.
Yeah, the big moments.
Exactly. But we have this devotional text today. It's called Day 5, Guarding Your Heart. And it argues something kind of terrifying. It says your life is actually being hijacked by, the random conversations you have on a Tuesday, or the podcasts you just casually queue up on your commute.
Well, those tiny incremental choices are exactly what this text targets. So today we are doing a deep dive into its framework for filtering life's influences.
And that stems from a pretty famous verse, right? Proverbs 4.23.
Right. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And I mean, the text defines the heart not just as your feelings, but as this exact intersection where your thoughts, desires, attitudes, decisions, and emotions all sort of collide.
So it's basically the command center.
It is the command center.
Well, when I hear guarding your heart, I usually picture building a massive brick wall, like total isolation.
Sure, a lot of people do. But the text explicitly says it does not mean becoming suspicious of everyone or just, refusing to trust people.
Right, so I was thinking it's less like a fortress and much more like being a really smart bouncer at a club. You aren't shutting down the party, you're just managing capacity and checking IDs at the door.
I like that analogy. The velvet rope in this scenario is wisdom. A guarded heart isn't a closed heart. It's a meticulously curated one.
So you have to evaluate the external forces constantly trying to bypass that bouncer.
Exactly. And the text lists very specific shaping forces. The voices you listen to, the entertainment you stream, and like you mentioned, the podcasts you subscribe to or the friendships you keep.
It gets pretty intense about romantic relationships, actually. It argues that attraction alone isn't enough to get someone through the door. Why is attraction such a terrible filter?
Because attraction totally blinds the bouncer.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It creates this emotional bypass where you ignore glaring red flags simply because of chemistry. That's why the text demands an objective directional test.
Right, before opening your heart, you have to ask, is this relationship drawing you closer to Christ, or is it pulling you away?
Yeah. If a relationship weakens your faith, it just fails the ID check. It's never worth the cost. Which leads straight into the text's today's action prompt.
The audit.
Yes, it forces a rigorous audit of your circles. It asks, what are you reading? What podcasts are you absorbing every week? Who is actually shaping your thinking?
And it's an active substitution, not just an elimination. The challenge is to intentionally replace one unhealthy influence with a healthy one.
Right, you have to actively swap it out.
But wait, the bouncer analogy is great for keeping bad influences out, but what if the threat is already
inside?
Yeah. The text names internal struggles like bitterness, jealousy, anger, pride. The bouncer can't fix a fist fight that's already happening on the dance floor.
No, he can't. Those internal elements have to be managed directly, or the club just tears itself apart. The text mandates dealing with these honestly by bringing them to God for healing.
See, I struggle with what that actually means on a practical level. Bringing them to God for healing can sound like a bit of a Christian cliche,
It definitely can sound that way.
What does that actually look like for someone waking up angry on a Wednesday? Is it just like a quick prayer?
No, I mean, it's an active mental surrender. It means catching that flare of jealousy or unforgiveness in the moment and intentionally asking God to correct what's wrong right then and there.
Oh, instead of letting it fester.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't let it dictate your mood. A heart maintained that way becomes a safe place where love can actually grow.
That brings up the hardest line in the text for me. It says, we need to learn to forgive without becoming foolish, to trust without becoming careless.
That is a tough balance.
Yeah, because if someone betrays your trust, how do you actually forgive them without instinctively building that brick wall to protect yourself?
Well, you anchor your trust in divine wisdom rather than human perfection. You can forgive freely because your ultimate security doesn't rely on the other person never making a mistake again.
Oh, so you protect your heart with truth, which is the very thing that makes it safe enough to remain soft.
Exactly.
Like a massive paradox. True vulnerability actually requires strict boundaries.
It really does. And it perfectly echoes the text's closing quote, which is, whatever captures your heart will eventually shape your life.
Right, because the things that slip past the bouncer end up running the venue.
Exactly.
A heart protected by truth is prepared to love with wisdom. Let's leave you with this to chew on today.
Yeah, think about your own daily habits.
Your screen time, the podcasts you consume, your daily schedule. If a total stranger were to look solely at that data, like the raw receipts of your day, what would they conclude has actually captured your heart?